Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Tech with Scott extended sort of podcast episode on the channel. And today, the topic of discussion is going to be smartphone addiction. So, without further ado, or sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's get into the discussion. You can hear me ramble a little bit. If you're new to this sort of series, it's sort of just an extended. It's an extension of my current channel where we kind of dive into some tech topics here and there. I give you my honest, unfiltered thoughts on technology, and this is going to be a fun one because this one is going to be objective but also pretty subjective at the same time. So the topic, as you can probably read by this title, is about smartphone addiction. I'm going to give some anecdotal sort of stories from myself. I'll read you some statistics, and then we can sort of reach a conclusion by the end of this sort of episode. If you enjoy this sort of content, make sure to subscribe to this channel, like it, and share it, and leave a comment down below your thoughts on this stuff, because it's a very, very, very touchy subject, for good reason too. So let's start off just by saying that this is a real thing. Addiction is a real thing. There's different types of addiction. And addiction arises when you are so reliant on a certain thing that trying to get away from it is almost painful to an individual, and they literally cannot survive, or at least mentally they cannot survive, or it can also be physically too. They cannot survive without a certain thing. You see this with drugs, you see this with gambling. They just get so tied down to this one thing that they can't break it. I need water. I'm filming this on the Friday night too, just because I feel like it, and I'm a little under the weather at the same time. So anecdotally, right? I struggle with phone addiction a lot. I review a lot of technology, and it's like the nature of just the craft. Similar to chefs being overweight. Obviously, it's part of the job. Similar thing for me. It's like I have to review tech a lot. I have to use it a lot, hands-on, that sort of thing, and I have to communicate that information to an audience. And obviously, to do that, I can't sit here and just have nothing to say. I have to know what I'm talking about. If I didn't know what I was talking about, then no one would click on my channel. I'd have zero credibility. No one would believe any of my opinions. So therefore, it's probably smart to actually use the tech a lot and master it. And so you become really good at that as a tech reviewer, starting to, just like being able to judge stuff just by only having it for a very limited amount of time. And obviously, your opinion will get better and better the longer you actually use something, obviously. So don't always trust these tech reviewers who review something for one day prior to a release and then come out with a full review video. Those should be labeled as first impressions, not a overall review. So anyway, anecdotally, as I was saying, I find myself scrolling on 2 social media apps the most. I spend more time in these 2 apps than I do in Messages and FaceTime and YouTube Studio. We'll hit on YouTube Studio a little bit later. But the 2 apps I'm referencing are TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And it's becoming unhealthy to the point where, I'm now seeing it's unhealthy. And the clear indicator to me is the fact that growing up, I always scrolled on YouTube. That was sort of the first application in my mind to introduce scrolling when it comes to social media content. And I'm now getting to the point where my attention span has been decreasing so much that I find myself not even being able to watch full videos on YouTube, whether that be 5 to 10 minutes on average. I'd say most videos are, just because my brain has been attuned to just absorbing short form content in the form of TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And it's getting even worse. I notice it getting even worse because I'll scroll past a video if it doesn't capture my attention in 1 second. Literally, that's it. If you don't have my attention 1 second, I am going to scroll past it, which is not a healthy thing. You would think that it's bad enough. At least you'll watch You would think like I would watch the full TikTok, the full YouTube short, right? The maximum time is only 60 seconds. You'd think it wouldn't be that bad. It's really bad. Like the fact that I swipe so frequently and I'm not actually like listening to most of the videos is like kind of alarming to me. And it's like ruining my desire to even watch like YouTube videos. To me, I don't see YouTube as unhealthy at all, actually. I find YouTube so educational and also entertaining at the same time. I don't find myself losing brain cells watching YouTube as much as I do shorts. And when I say YouTube, I mean full length videos. Shorts is different. When I'm watching shorts and TikTok videos, just like in bed, that bed behind me, like just mindlessly scrolling for hours on end, I'm like, something is really wrong. The fact that it's this addicting and I can't break it. I've uninstalled TikTok several times. I just did it right before this sort of podcast. Why do you think I want to talk about this in the video? It's pretty obvious. So I uninstalled it, but like I'm just sitting there mindlessly scrolling for like hours on end, and like I can't break it. Eventually, I just say like you got to stop, and I get out of bed and I go do something like this, and yeah, and like I said before, the content on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, 99% of it is not educational. It's not making me a better person. It's literally being generated. That stuff is being generated to keep me addicted and giving views to other people, making them more successful and making me less successful, if you really think about it like that. I mean, there's two ways to make or like to be successful. You can either designate your time or your money, one of the two. Did I say that right? I'm not even sure. Whatever. Anyway, like I'm giving up so much of my valuable time to these apps that I could be doing something better. And I make the argument a lot, or at least people tell me this, that like sometimes I overwork myself. Sometimes I burn myself out, which I completely understand. I do that. But in the time I do have off, where I'm not working, I don't want to be mindlessly scrolling on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. To me, that is the worst thing to possibly do. There's an argument to be said like you need to relax after you've worked a long day, but there's also the other side of the coin. It's like, okay, that's fine, you can relax, but maybe do something that's like not damaging your brain cells and leading to addiction. I think that's a fair point. I think most people can agree with that. If we make the other comparison, say like, I work all this time, I'm burnt out, I need to relax, I'm going to go gamble all my money away. Obviously, objectively, you probably shouldn't do that. So that's the sort of connection I'm trying to tie between like different types of addictions. Whoops. And my camera's going to follow me. Let me just zoom in real quick. And it doesn't want to zoom in. There we go. It's like whatever. We'll leave it. So where was I going with that? Let's look at some statistics since I'm drawing a blank. Here's some smartphone stats. 47% of Americans admit they're addicted to their phones. That one didn't really surprise me. It's around 50%. And to me, that's coming mostly from the younger generation, probably millennials, Gen Z, and maybe even baby boomers. Probably baby boomers in there too. My grandparents have phones. Obviously, they're not addicted because they didn't grow up with it, and they're not on social media. I feel like anyone with a smartphone with social media would classify themselves as addicted. That's just my opinion. The average American checks their phone 352 times per day. That's almost as many days in a year, which is kind of crazy. I find myself doing this of like constantly needing to check my phone because like I'm missing out on something. I don't know, an email, a text message, YouTube notification that someone uploaded a video. I don't know, email. I don't know if I already said that. It's just like you feel like disconnected if you're not looking at your phone and checking it, which is really unhealthy. It's almost making it so your reality is through your lens of reality is through your phone versus your own eyes and the real world around you, which is really bad. It's like turning into Ready Player One over here. Everyone's living in the headset. but the headset right now is your phone. Yeah, so I check my phone way too much. And I'm trying to, like, the first thing you can do with this sort of stuff is like acknowledge it. And I also saw this tip by Jack Denmo on YouTube where he said like turn your phone like the color grading on it, turn it to I don't know if it's called monochrome, but anyway, it's black and white basically. So your phone's not the thing that's bringing you joy and livelihood and like, you know, color is meant to represent, in this case, like livelihood and happiness and all that stuff, exploration. So like making your phone black and white will take your attention away from your phone and make your reality more vivid, if that makes sense. Small tip, shout out Jack Denmo, interesting YouTuber. 71% of people spend more time on their phone with their romantic partner. That's really sad. It almost makes you question, like, do they like them more than their partner? I don't know if that's mostly a subjective question, but objectively, I would think the more time you spend with someone or something, that represents how much value you put on something or something. So if you're spending more time, and that's the majority of people, it's 71%, it's almost 3/4. Like if you're spending more time with your phone than your partner, you might like your phone more than your partner, which is sad. Almost 2/3 of children spend 4 more hours per day on their smartphones. I want to talk about battery life in relation to this because it's really close, and there's definitely a correlation between this and average battery life or screen time that you can get on most phones. Right now, like 4 hours of screen on time is considered good, 5 is great, 6 is like unbelievable. So just the fact that like 2/3 of kids are spending 4 hours per day, that's like they're literally using their entire phone battery every single day of their lives. Like, it's just nuts. And like you see all this, right, technology and battery technology keeps evolving over time. Shout out Tesla. It keeps evolving over time and the software is getting better to optimize battery health. But it's like, is that necessarily a good thing? I feel like in an alternate reality, or you could even make the argument that like worse battery life is actually better for humans because their phones would be dying more. But then you could also say like, oh, but then they'd have to just like charge it more or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. 44% of Americans admit, or American adults admit, then I can't even read. I'm so tired right now. American adults admit that not having their phone gives them anxiety. I can attest to this. I feel like I need to I'm like constantly like checking my bag or my pocket to like feel my phone, just make sure it's there. It's like part of my daily essential now. Make sure I have my like phone, wallet, and keys in my pocket at all times. I constantly check. Because like if I don't have my phone, I feel like I said before, I'm like disconnected from reality. I'm disconnected from everything. I can't connect with people, both short and long distances from me. All right, you need to be constantly keeping up on the news and your email and your YouTube analytics. That's an anecdote, but yeah, it's sad. Cell phones cause over 20% of car accidents. This is why they make such a big deal about not texting and driving. I would never do this. Occasionally I'll glance over at my phone to see if I have a notification, but I'm not like, I would never sit there and like start like looking at my phone while I'm driving, like trying to text at the same time. Like you're asking to just die if you do that. There was a statistic that like, I think this is if you're on the highway, if you're going like 65 miles an hour or something, if you're like, if you just like stare at your phone just for a little bit, you're going to end up traveling like 100 yards to the length of a football field in that small amount of time. So if that's the case, you might hit something because you're traveling a long distance without even looking at the road, which is clearly not safe. So those are some stats. Let me bring it back here. Those are some stats, and I'm doing my best to try to fix this. I understand this is not the easiest thing in the world. Phone addiction is a real thing. I'm a tech reviewer. I need to like use technology to AKA make a living, right? If I want to turn this YouTube channel into a profitable business, I need to review tech, and a lot of the time that's going to involve my phone. I film on my phone, so that's even more screen time usage right there. All this to say, I think it's good to acknowledge it, like I'm doing. And, once you acknowledge it, I think you can then start taking it. You acknowledge it, you accept it's real, then you can start taking like the necessary steps to try to break it. And I don't think going cold turkey works. I don't, like, 'cause you're just gonna regress back to using it because like it's so painful. It's just like stopping smoking all of a sudden. Like you need to transition. You need to take micro steps and that sort of thing. So I'm going to work on it. I'm going to use more focus modes on my iPhone, on my laptop, on my tablet, on my PC, and start, enjoying my reality and not the reality that I exist in through my phone, because it's really unhealthy. And yeah, those are my 2 cents on this sort of subject. If you guys enjoyed this, like I said before, you can support the channel. You can, but just by hitting the like button and promoting this to the YouTube algorithm. If you are one of my longtime fans on this channel, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for sticking it out with me. If you're a Life Made Easy fan, shout out to you guys transitioning over to this channel. Stuff like that. I just want to give like a big thank you in this. Just like, I haven't even hit 1,000 subs yet, but I'm at 952 at the recording of this episode. But I'm slowly getting, I just want to give a big shout out to you guys, because like you've been super supportive of the channel. I read all your comments. Don't ever think I don't read comments on this channel. I might not reply to all of them, but I definitely I definitely read all of them and like them and heart them and that sort of thing. But you guys are the backbone of this channel. Don't ever forget that. I couldn't be where I am today. I haven't made a dime off this channel. I'm not monetized. I've done a few worked with a few companies thus far, but like very, very small things, and they'll send me a product for free just to promote one of my videos however I see fit. I actually refuse to be bossed around by brands who tell me exactly what kind of video I need to make. I instantly delete those emails, because the point of this channel is creativity and enjoying what I do, and I will not be told by a brand how to record my videos. I will do that all by myself. Anyway, phone addiction, a real thing. It exists. I suffer from it. You probably suffer from it a little bit. Everyone, this is a spectrum. It's not like binary. It's not like, oh, yes, no, you suffer from it. Everything's on a spectrum. And comment down below if you guys have any thoughts on this stuff, and if ways you're thinking about breaking it. Yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video from Tech with Scott. Thank you so much for watching, people, and listening. Bye-bye.